Hello, welcome back everybody to Cooking SE with Chef Gilou. Today we're gonna talk seafood. So I'm just gonna wait a couple minutes for people to show up. So just so you know, when I started cooking at age 16, I actually did my apprenticeship in a seafood restaurant. So seafood has been a long love story for me. And I also grew up on the Atlantic coast where seafood is big. So generally when I go back to France, the first thing I will ask my dad when I go visit him is to make me one of those big seafood platter with like oyster, there'll be 2 or 3 kind of shrimp, there'll be those snail, sea snail, and like a cooked crab, and langoustine, and of course some oysters. So today we're going to talk about oyster, we're going to talk about mussels, shrimp, and I'm forgetting one, scallops. So today I'm going to show you how to open an oyster. And so when it comes to seafood, what's very important with seafood is how fresh they are. So like me right now, I don't live on the ocean. I'm in the middle of Ontario. I'm on a lake. So on a lake you don't get seafood, you get some fish, but there's no seafood. So you have to make sure you get to know the person that sells the seafood, like if you go to a superstore. So now I know me that they get their seafood on Tuesday. So generally I try to buy my seafood on Tuesday or on Wednesday. I would buy the oyster fresh. Now on the box, there's always going to be a label that tells you when they were harvested. So you don't want them to be more than 2 weeks. If it's older than 2 weeks, the time of harvest, do not buy them. And same with the mussels. But when it comes to scallops and shrimp, I buy them frozen. You get a better product. Like I buy those scallops, they defrost very fast. And when you buy, so the scallop I buy, so I'm in Canada, so depending on where you are in the world, you will have access to different type of seafood. But I got those ones, the Nova Scotia scallop. And I actually used to live in Digby, which is the capital of the world of scallop, where they fish the scallop right there. And I know what they do is, as they fish them on a boat, they open them and they freeze them. So they don't have time to sit around. And when it comes to shrimp, there's a lot of shrimp who are produced very badly, so you want to make sure you get organic shrimp or wild-caught shrimp. All right. So let's start with the oyster. So those are Malpeque oyster from PEI in Canada. So I'm going to put my camera down so you can see how to open an oyster if you've never done it. So first you need an oyster knife, which kind of looks like this. You want to make sure you get a towel to protect your hand and to hold the oyster. So you want to come halfway like this, and you're just going to put your knife right there. And it's almost like a bottle opener. You're going to see what's going to happen. So you come here, you got your knife, just put it at the end, and when you got a good grip in there, you just give a little twist. And then you want to slide your knife inside, because the oyster is attached to the top of the shell too. So you don't want to see it, like come up. And then the oyster is attached inside. So then you want to slide your knife underneath so it can come off. And you can see that's a nice fresh oyster because there's a lot of liquid in it. And that is full of iodine, which is very good for you. So I'm going to show you a few more times. You put your knife at the end. Click. Slide down. And then slide on there. So today I'm just doing like raw oysters, but you can cook oyster also. And I would post some recipe. I'm not going to do it today, but I would post 1 or 2 recipes of cooked oyster in the following weeks. Oh, this one a bit harder. But again, slide. scratch. So when you eat raw oyster, so here I'm going to show you. So when you open them, then you want to eat them fairly quickly after. So today I got, you cannot see, but I got quite a little public there. So you're going to get to enjoy them, because I cannot eat all of them by myself. And I just like them with a little zest of lemon. Now there's some people, they put a bit of Tabasco on it. You can, if you buy some shallot and chop it very fine and put it in red wine vinegar and leave it in your fridge for at least a week. So if you know you're going to have oyster, you can do that like a week in advance. And you put just a little bit on your oyster. It's kind of a traditional way to eat it. So here you have it. It's a nice oyster, nice and fresh. You can see there's a lot of water in it. So I'm going to put them in the fridge for now. Oh, picture time.
Thank you.
So next, we clear this. So next I'm going to show you to make a shrimp and avocado salad. So your shrimp also, my advice would be when you buy them, to buy them with a shell. Because when you cook them with a shell, the shrimp will have a stronger and tastier taste. So I already cooked those. To cook them, I just bring some water to boil. I put some salt, pepper, and a few zest of lemon. And in literally for like shrimp that size, when the water is boiling, it takes like just 2 minutes. Okay, no more than 2 minutes. Put the bowl. So, for this salad, I'm gonna juice 1 lime. So the juice of 1 lime, so it's kind of Mexican style. Gonna make it a little spicy too. So some lime. And then I'm gonna put the equivalent of olive oil. Of course, some cracked pepper. And then some cayenne. I think it's getting hot. A bit of cayenne. And of course some salt. And I'm going to put also some fresh coriander, which I just picked in my garden. I'm quite amazed. It's almost mid-October. I'm still wearing short. I'm in Canada, so no, we don't live in igloos. And I'm still harvesting stuff in a garden. It's been, I think this has been the longest I haven't been harvesting stuff in October. I don't think I've ever done that before, have we? So the coriander. Just mix this. And I'm gonna cut the avocado. Here's my shrimp, so I'm going to throw the shrimp in there. It's already cooked. Okay, so only 2 minutes. The secret too with seafood is you don't want to you want to make sure they cook, but you don't want to overcook or they become rubbery. So here's my shrimp, and then here's my avocado. Just like that. And then put it down there. And I would like to in a comment if you like to tell me what's your favorite seafood. And also where you're watching from. I always like to know where people are watching from. I want also to thank you because we have now 1,615 followers. So thank you for sharing with your friends and your family. And then you're just gonna dice the avocado like this. This one, I love that salad. Shrimp and avocado is so good together. You can do it with crab meat too. It's very good, avocado and crab together. And then you just mix it like that. And that's it. So the nice thing about seafood too is like they don't take long to cook or prepare, and they bring you a lot of variety. And as you know, living wild fish is all about variety. So when it comes to seafood, there's so many different kinds of seafood. You know, between shrimp, mussel, crab, lobsters, clam. That's langoustine, rock lobster, snow crab.
Snow crab, king crab.
So many kinds. So, scallop next. So your scallop, you always want to make sure that they're nice and dry. So you put them on a paper towel. See, and I'm going to show you two ways to do scallop. So the scallop, so shrimp, never eat raw shrimp, by the way. Oyster, you can eat raw or cook, and it's the same with scallops. You can do it raw or cook. So I'm going to do a little ceviche. I got the stuff going on like right next to me, and it's very hot. So, forget to put the onion. I got a special knife for seafood, so that's a very thin knife, like compared to, I want to show you the size. So that's a paring knife. That's the knife I use to chop and stuff like that, and that's the knife I use for seafood, like to cut my fish and lift up the fillet. So what you want to do with your scallop ceviche, so you want to get about 4 slices out of that. So I'm going to put the phone back down again. Can you see well? And then I'm going to cut some very thin slice like this. I'm going to put it on a plate. So, are people saying what's their favorite seafood?
Anne has said she loves all seafood. Her favorite is sea bass. Said it's been a long time since we've had sea bass. We used to get it a lot in London.
Yeah, sea bass. Yeah, we used to get a lot of sea bass. It was good too, but it's very hard to find, my friend. So you just keep going like that, little layer. And after, what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix some olive oil with a bit of lime, and we're going to slightly brush it over it. And that is called ceviche from South America. And that's something like, so if you're gonna have guests over, it's something you can prepare in advance. Just cover it with cling film. So I got a little bowl there with a brush. So put a little olive oil, not too much. You don't want to smother the scallop in oil. And the lime is going to slightly cook the scallops. And the salt we're going to put on it too will help to cook the scallop a little bit. So there you go. You got a little concoction there, just a bit of lime and olive oil. And you can see. And you're just going to brush just enough to give it a nice shine to it. There. And then I like to put a little bit of chives. Of course, some pepper. And I like to add to it, because I really like the perfumy taste of it, like some pink pepper. Alright. And the pink pepper you just put in your hand and it just breaks. You see? Little flakes. And it's got a nice perfumy taste that I find goes very well with seafood. And of course some of my fleur de sel. And then so when you do that, you can do that like even an hour in advance, no more than that. But when you do it, you want to let it set for at least 10 minutes. And then I'm going to finish it with a touch of cherry on it. It's a nice light taste. And we have a lovely plate like that. Doesn't that look gorgeous? So I'm going to put it in the fridge for now. Alright, so cooking a scallop. Very important is to not overcook them. They will become rubbery and they're very not nice when they're like that. But you make sure you have a very hot pan. Okay, and you're just going to put them. So cooked scallop, something that goes very well with scallop is if you cook some leeks and you put the scallop over your leeks that you cook a long time, which is nice and creamy. Just going to put a little salt on it and pepper. You can wrap them in bacon, and when you do that you want to bake them in the oven so the bacon cooks, and that's very good too. And then they're good in many different dishes. By the time I will be posting some different recipes with scallops. But today I just want to show you, I just wanted to talk more about where to buy it from, the freshness, how to cook them. So, see, you want a nice little color on it. And I'm going to make sure that they not cook all the way through. So I will cut one and show you what it will look like when. And then that way they're nice and tender. They don't become like all rubbery. And then now you could do also is put a bit of garlic, but I don't really like it with scallop. I really like the taste of it, so I don't like to overpower the taste of it. And then just to finish them, a little squeeze of lemon. And look at that, this is already cooked. I'm going to show you. And the first one I put. See, you want kind of like almost like a rare steak. I don't know. Can you see that? The difference? Is the light too bright? I don't know if you can see, but So it's almost like you're cooking a medium rare steak. So that's it. Like, that's how long it takes to cook a scallop. I got my testers there. They're gonna tell me what they think. Can speak out loud so they can hear the comment. All right. And the last one we're gonna do is the mussels. And so when you buy mussels, I'm gonna show you a few things. Very important to know about mussel. Sorry, that thing is very hot. Where did I put it? So look, it's been what, 20 minutes. We got some oyster, we got a shrimp salad, we got a scallop ceviche, and we got some cooked scallop. I mean, this is pretty amazing. So when you buy your mussel, you want to wash them a few times in nice cold water and give them at least 3 to 4 baths. You're gonna see stuff coming out. The last thing you want to eat is mussels, and it's crunchy because there's still a bit of sand. Now, when you buy a bag of mussels, broken one, do not eat them, so it throws those away. Sometimes they will have, if they're not cleaned properly, they will have that little bird things. So that, you want to take that out. Okay, and here's another thing. If you have mussel and they open, and you close them like this, and you wait, and they won't stay closed, then don't eat those either. All your mussels should be able to close. Like this one. See, this one didn't reopen, just slightly. You want them nice and closed. So I got a pan there. I'm just gonna. So this is a very traditional way in France. Normally you would put butter, but now I use olive oil instead. Some garlic. So that's just 1 garlic clove. So that's for 2-pound bag of mussels. And I couldn't get shallot, so I use red onion, but it tastes better with shallot. I'm gonna put those in there. And a bit of green onion. Do not put any salt with your mussel, because the water that's gonna come out of the mussel is seawater, so it's very salty already. I was gonna put some, but definitely put some pepper. Now, I have a funny story about mussels. Me and my wife were in Malaysia on Penang Island, and we asked for a nice restaurant that served like Malaysian food, because there was a lot of like actually Chinese restaurants there. And so we went to that nice little restaurant on the beach. It was sunset, and it got dark, and like the light in the restaurant was kind of like you couldn't really see very well. And so we ordered the mussels, and just so you know, if you ever try to Malaysia, traditional Malaysian food is very spicy. So basically there was as many of those little guys, but there was mussel in a dish. It was impossible to eat. It was like her mouth was on fire. It wasn't even funny.
Don't always trust your cat either.
Anyone there had any funny seafood stories they like to share on the news? So you want this to cook a little bit, and then just add your mussel. A little, that's just 1/4 cup of white wine. So there was 1 garlic clove, 1/4 of a red onion, and then you want to put a good bunch of parsley on top, and that's it. And then you want to cover it. So I'm just going to stir it a bit, and then you want to let it cook. You're just going to let it cook until the mussel completely open, and I will show you the texture you're looking for a cooked mussel. I'll take a picture of that. Does anyone have any question about particular seafood that you like to know? You can just ask me question.
Everybody's quiet today.
Yeah, everybody's quiet. So, I'm just gonna let those seafood cook.
Do you want to pull the ceviche and show me what it looks like?
What? Now?
After it's cooked, yeah.
We still can do the same. So you're gonna see your ceviche, like, so you're gonna notice that the scallop is gonna turn a little whiter, not as translucent. Now I never cooked on that thing before, that seems to be slow. Slowly, it's starting to boil a little bit. Yeah. So, same mussel. Like if you have a very hot stove, I would say no longer than 6 or 7 minutes probably. Lobsters, if you buy a pound, you want to cook, when you boil a lobster, you want to do 10 minutes per pound. So a small 1 pound lobster, like no more than 10 minutes. It's the same if you overcook a lobster, it'd be tough and not as enjoyable to eat. Still no question? All right. Quiet today. I'm just going to do a little tidy up where this is cooking. Now I think some, I don't know how they get the seafood in Las Vegas, but me and my wife, we went to Las Vegas a few times and it's quite amazing the quality of the seafood they have over there. I eat one of my best seafood pasta in Las Vegas, one of my best seafood platter in Las Vegas. Actually that seafood platter, that was the night of our wedding. We had one and then we ordered a second one. That's how good it was. And I just noticed I meant to put a bit of red onion too in that salad. I just noticed standing there, forget. Put it on the table behind. And so, look like we'll be having a little seafood fest. There we go. Slowly starting, you can see the starting to boil, you can see they start to open.
Asking if you can review the steps for the avocado and shrimp salad.
You can review the steps. So you buy your shrimp, you cook them in boiling water with salt, pepper and lemon zest for like 2 minutes. You want to cook them in a shell, then you peel them. And I just put the juice of 1 lime, and you put about the same amount of olive oil. I put a bit of pinch of cayenne pepper, salt and pepper, and some fresh coriander. Now, I know a lot of people don't like coriander. You could put some chive, or... and then I put a little bit of red onion and just one big avocado diced up in squares. When you mix it, and that's the same. You want to eat that the same day because your avocado make it turn brown. They slowly start to open, but I know it's not cooked yet. almost too small, that pot.
For them to open?
Yeah, okay, it's pressing on it. So generally it's, for the mussel, I did in a pan because I wanted you guys to be able to see, but it's better to have a deeper pot where they have space to open up and rise up.
Did you mention about like how long to keep it in the fridge? Like if you buy seafood, how fast you could be cooking it?
So the frozen one I just defrost on the day off. Like you run them like shrimp and scallop. If you run them under cold water, they don't take long to defrost. And scallop, like so the mussel and oyster would depend. Like so, if they were harvested last week, then I would keep it up to a week in my fridge. I don't want it to have it from the harvest time. You want max 2 weeks. After that, it's pushing it a bit. You won't taste as fresh. Kim Morgan, merci. You're welcome. Leave it open. So you're looking for all of them to be open. They should turn a nice orange color like this. That just needs just 1 more minute, I would say. So like I said, generally, but see some of them not open yet. But I would say 7-8 minutes. If you have like a gas stove, it will go even faster. And then you just test. I'm just gonna add a little pepper to it. Yeah, just 1 more minute. Do you want to say what's your favorite? And so is Florida. Hey Diane. Hey Anne. What's there? So I hope I make you want to, if you are not confident with cooking seafood, I hope it's actually, you can see it's not that hard. It's very easy. It's the most important thing is to make sure you get good quality seafood. Fresh. Like when I go in France, the market, and you see the seafood, basically the scallop is still in a shell. So they open it for you right in front of you. There's a lot of shrimp you can buy, they're still alive.
Crabs too.
Yeah, the crabs, you buy them, they're alive. You know, everything is still alive, so you know it's fresh, right? But if you're not by the ocean and you don't have access to that kind of market, like I say, go for anything in a shell, still fresh. Everything else, you better buy it frozen because you know it hasn't been sitting on a shelf for days and days. So there they are, they cook. See, they're nice and open. And then that's the trick we used to do when I was a kid. You will use an empty mussel to grab the other one like this. And so, bon appétit. Thanks again for showing up today. And we'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care. Bye.